Hey, welcome to 24/7 Marriage
I'm
Podcast.
Shannon,
And I'm Javier.
and we are the founders of what are we the founders of?
24/7 Marriage. Today's podcast is brought to you by Stand Up Apparel, which I am wearing right now.
I
and
am not.
I wear often, pretty much almost every day between my green ones, my black ones. Incredibly comfortable.
If they made underwear, would you wear them?
I would. Stand up underwear. So incredibly comfortable. They wear really well. But also they're supporting things that we love and that we stand for, and a lot of also faith-based type of sayings, a faith-based company.
Yes.
And if you go to the website,
yes.
standupapparel.com.
Or you go to our website.
Or even our
You can
website.
get there either
So
way.
you can get there either way, but they are also, as Shannon said, they are also
I didn't say.
producing and shipping out and handling all the merchandise for 24/7 Marriage, from t-shirts,
Yeah,
sweatshirts.
they're an exclusive partner.
Yeah.
And if you go to our website and click merch, you will see our Make Marriage Great Again and all 24/7 merch there. And you can buy all of your favorite shirts Javi wears. They're all on one page. Easy for you to
Yeah.
check out. Ships out pretty quickly.
Yeah. And
We
go
love this.
check them out, standupapparel.com, and use code 247 Marriage for a 10% discount. That also supports the work that we are doing here at 24/7 Marriage. So make sure you take advantage of that. It has been a crazy time. We have wrapped up our final boot camp of the year.
Pop a battery out.
We have wrapped up the final boot camp of this year, and we are. Haven't been working as hard because I've been relaxing a little bit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. It's been a source of contention, but it's okay because we're both in process. We
also handle different things. So
well, but yeah,
you got to keep promoting boot camps and doing all that with the team, and I'm just a talent. I just get to come in and do my thing.
My gosh, this guy. Well, yeah, I did make a story about you. I took a picture of the men in the kitchen cooking at boot camp, and I said in the left-hand corner, "We're not sure why Javier was in the kitchen. He's not allowed in there." But I took a picture.
They kick me out every time that I'm in there. So yeah, but it's been it's been great, and we are. We'll have the next boot camp coming up next year. So make sure that you jump on and that you sign in. That you go in and take a look at the dates for next year of boot camps, and we'd love to see you at a boot camp. Get registered now because they do fill up fast.
I think some of your wires in your brain are crossed.
Probably so.
It's almost like you wrapped up a podcast and we just started because your energy was so high and you talked so fast.
That's all right.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
I wanted you to put that clarity strip on you to maybe help you a little bit, calm you down. That's why I said pop a battery out. You're a little wound up. But we did just wrap up boot camp, the last boot camp of 2024. And I can't believe that this year's already over of all the boot camps. But I'll ask you a boot camp question. You can ask me one. But out of all the locations that we went to, I know we love all the people. We love all the couples that we met. But is there a location that really struck a chord with you that you really loved? The atmosphere, the house, the state.
I always love Cambria. That's always going to be a given, just because it's on the coast and it's a part of the central coast of California that we love, even though it is California. It's a beautiful area. I think I did like Texas. I did
not expect you to say that.
I liked the atmosphere. The house was great. The property was great. The owners of that property were incredible. And we'll be going back there. I did love it. I mean, I liked Colorado, but I like being up more in the mountains of Colorado.
Okay. Do you know what I thought you were going to say?
What?
Washington. I thought you were in love with that property.
It was beautiful, and the property's beautiful, and the river, and I was able to fish in it after boot camp, which was great, and caught some things or some fish, and it was great. A little too that time of year. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. The house was beautiful.
Yeah.
A little wet for me.
Oh, I didn't like that either.
Wet and damp. So my beard doesn't do good there. It just curls up. So for that reason.
Yeah, but Cambria did you no favors either, because somebody came up to you Saturday morning from boot camp when they came in for breakfast, and they asked you, "Did you cut your beard this morning?"
I'm like, no, it's just temperature controlled. So if there's moisture outside, that sucker
Uh,
curls up.
it was kind of giving me
So
2018 vibes because it was pretty short.
it got short. Yeah,
Yeah.
curls up.
Okay.
Curls up in a little
You can
ball.
ask me a question.
Oh, good. Well, who was your favorite person of all the boot camps? No, I'm not gonna answer. Not that. Did you have a? Well, no. Did you have a favorite spot? I said mine. Did you have one?
Well, Cambria. For me, it's
Right.
sentimental. It's where it started 5 years
Sure.
ago. I love the Central Coast of California. There's just there's no cell reception. It's very spotty. You can be very disconnected, and there's something about the ocean. There's something about hearing the ocean that does something for your soul. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but it is amazing, and I love that boot camp. It feels always very. What do I want to say? There's just this cozy feeling about a
Yeah.
Cambria boot camp
Yeah.
because it's overcast. It could be a little drizzly, and it's like you have your cup of coffee. You're sitting in on these sessions. You're working through some marriage things. It's just
Yeah.
the atmosphere,
Yeah.
everything that goes into it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so this year's been amazing. We've seen incredible, just transformation, change, healing, restoration in the lives of couples across the board, and that's what begins to happen. And not only that, I mean, even just from people who are following us, who are reaching out, we're hearing incredible stories, and some of those we'll be able to share as we go into this
Yeah. If
next year.
you have joined our email list, then you got an email to last week of a video of a couple that just went to boot camp,
Yeah.
John and Liz, and his testimony and what they got out of boot camp and why you should come to a boot camp next year. Your marriage needs this. It does.
All right, so you told me I needed to find a love song and read it to you, lyrics, and then you're going to try to guess who it
We're
is.
gonna work on your
Is that what we're
segues.
doing?
Yeah, we're gonna work on your
Work on my
segues.
segue exam. It is what it is. And so you told me I to find a love song that's popular or something that's known and read you a lyric and you're going to guess what it is. That's what you wanted
Okay,
to
how
do.
many lines do I get?
Just a few. Okay, here it goes. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things you know are meant to be.
I can't stop falling in love with you, Elvis Presley.
It is Elvis Presley, and it's close. Yes, can't help falling in love with
Can't
you.
stop falling in love with you.
Can't help.
I just made up a new
Can't
song.
help myself. I don't know the song.
Yes, I got
Falling
it.
in love with you. You
Okay.
want one more because you're so amazing.
Thanks, Fookie.
I don't know if you'll get this one. Should I get one that people might know?
Sure. Yeah. Don't be
Baby,
obscure.
I'm amazed at the way you pulled me out of time.
Yeah, I already know it. Paul McCarthy.
Oh, Garth.
Paul McCartney.
Maybe I'm amazed. You know what's funny about that? I thought the song was always "Baby, I'm amazed."
What is it?
Maybe I'm amazed.
Maybe.
I thought it was "Baby, I'm amazed." Baby, I'm amazed.
But baby, you could be amazed. Like
Maybe.
if you call your spouse, you have a nickname
So,
for them.
anyways,
Okay.
don't do it for me
Yep.
because honey, I'm not going to guess anything. I have no ability to be able to
but
guess this kind of
this
stuff.
is what podcasters live for.
Okay.
And our 24/7 family, they love
Shit,
when I give you a hard
Okay,
time.
sure, go ahead.
Are you ready? Okay. I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do is all right with me.
I have absolutely zero idea.
What if I
What does it start with? What is the artist
Oh, I'm not going to tell you
first
that.
initial?
I'm going to give you one
First
more line.
letter.
I'm going to give you one more line. I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do is all right with me because you make me feel so brand new.
You make me feel so brand new.
That's not a love song. Okay. If I give you his,
Just give me the first letter.
It's a he. Oh, the first letter of his name is an A.
I have no idea.
Okay. No,
just give it. Come on.
I'm gonna just sing the first part.
No.
I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do.
I know the song, but I don't know what it's sung. It's all right with me. I have no idea.
Al Green,
Al Green.
Let's Stay Together.
Would have never gotten that.
But you know the song.
I was like, "Let's get it on." I know that one.
Oh, it'll get happier.
Is that a love song?
Okay.
Let's get it
Now,
on.
I'm 90% sure you're going to get this one.
All right.
Okay. Ready? Highway Run into the Midnight Sun.
Journey.
What's the name of the song? Wheels go round and round. You're
Wheels in
on.
the Sky.
Would you stop talking? Oh my gosh. Restless hearts sleep alone tonight. Sending all my love along the wire.
I know it's Journey, but I don't know the name of the song.
Okay,
It's
what's
not
their
Wheels in the Sky?
No, because that's not a love
Mm.
song. Okay, what is their
All
most
of Me.
No, that's not a that's not even a song they sing. I mean, All of Me is a song. All of me. Why don't I have all of me? That's a song. But this is their most popular song. It's one word.
Why? I should know this
I
because
know.
I know all their songs. Can I cheat?
Well, it's Faithfully, Javier.
Faithfully. I knew that. I just didn't want to say it.
Because you didn't want to outshine me.
Yeah, I wanted you to get all the glory today.
All the
All
glory.
the glory. Anyways, that was fun. That was fantastic, Jen. I know as we this is not what I wanted to talk about or what we were going to talk about, but
but we're
I
going to
think
anyway.
well, I think part of it is like probably next couple weeks we'll do a segment on how do you survive the holidays. You know, as a married
Handling the
couple,
holidays.
with in-laws, with family, parents, you know, kids, just everything that takes place during the holidays. And we tend to see within marriages, there's a lot of sometimes discussion, sometimes there's alignment, sometimes there's disagreements around where we should go, what we should do, and then we feel this obligation of
Oh, we're going to
who
lay
we
it
need to
all
be
out for
with.
you.
So we'll kind of lay all that out. We'll probably do that here in a couple weeks, so that way you can get understanding of how do you have these conversations, but also create the boundaries around what's how you're going to spend the holidays and what you're going to do.
Well,
And
the goal is
hon,
to have.
wasn't done.
Oh,
Hold on.
okay.
I would say the basis of this is that you have to understand, like, whatever you decide as a married couple for your family of what you're going to do, and not succumbing or adapting to what everybody else wants you to do, but saying this is what we do, this is our plans, this is where we're going to be. You can come see us, or we have this time available to come see you. You're going to have to be really clear about that, but we'll talk about that in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yes.
The end goal is that there's unity between husband and wife, and that there's less friction. Like the goal isn't to like create more chaos.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're dealing with a spouse who really is a people pleaser, and they have those strings still attached to mommy and daddy, and they like to make sure that mom and dad are pleased, and that becomes a huge source of a contention. But we're going to talk about that, and that episode's coming out, I believe, the 18th.
I don't know.
The 18th.
So we often talk about, I didn't even tell you this, but this is where we're going to go because you say it quite often.
Okay.
And this idea, we have talked about this at boot camps, at workshops, and it's
most of your podcasts start with, we're going to talk about this idea.
Well, yeah, it is this idea of what does it mean to be a student of your spouse?
I say this all the time.
We have said it. We have maybe high level mentioned some things around it, but we have never really talked about what does it actually mean when we say to be a student of your spouse.
Do you want me to break it down?
So yes. So start, and
Okay.
yeah, I'll jump in, I guess.
It's one of my favorite things to talk about because we've all spent 12 plus years in school since we were in kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, and then college, and if you went on beyond that. So we all understand what a student means. So when we look at our marriage, it's like we've just signed up for school and we're picking up our textbooks. And they're like, here's all your textbooks. Now here's to learning all about your spouse.
So when you say that, I'm like, I don't want to do that because I didn't like school and I didn't want to study.
Okay, well, you can just close your ears right now while I finish my analogy.
Okay.
So you're picking up all of your textbooks, and this is a school that you never graduate from.
Oh my gosh, Jen, you're selling this so
I
well.
know. This exciting.
Oh,
I know
this
that
sounds
sounds
exhausting.
okay, but that is what it means, because to graduate means one of the spouses has died. So 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 to always be a student is that being in a putting yourself in a position of always learning, not saying I already have it figured out. I already know what's coming next. And here's the thing, with school, you finish a semester and then you get new books for the next semester. So you'll finish a season with your marriage, maybe the first 10 years of our marriage, but then from year 10 to year 20, we were different people. We were in the middle of parenting two small
Yeah,
girls.
I was Rick. You were.
Why were you
I'm
Rick?
kidding. You
Oh,
said different people, so I was just
well,
choosing
we
a
we
person.
were we were in our 30s. We were a lot younger, lots of different things going on. We were buying a home, all these things. So we had to get new textbooks to learn about each other in that season. And now look at us, 31
Look at
years of
us now.
marriage, 51 and almost 52, and we just got a new stack of books, and we're having to relearn some new things about each
Yeah,
other because
yeah,
it's not the same. So posturing yourself in this position of, I always want to learn, I'm trying to glean and study them so that you can get an A on the test, so that you can pass this class. Because when we sit in the position of we have it all figured out, my wife is always the same way, or my husband's never going to change, then it doesn't give any room for growth or
yeah.
improvement.
So, what I have written down is being a student of your spouse is actively and intentionally making an effort to deeply understand your spouse by listening, by asking questions, learning about their thoughts, their feelings, their needs, dreams, experiences. Because here's the things, like a lot of things, like you just said, those things shift and change.
Yeah.
There's some things that they may want to pursue later in life that they did not early on in your marriage. There may be some things that were really important to them now. It's shifted a little bit. So it's this constant place of being able to sit back and to study and to understand your spouse. And that means you've got to ask questions. That means you have to dig in and say, I want to continue to learn, because it's really easy. Um, if you're not a student of your spouse, to sit back and when you see certain behaviors or you see certain things that have shifted and changed, to say like, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me, and why is this going on, and why are they behaving that way? There may be some shifts, some things that are now important to them that I'm not saying that they weren't before, but now they've come of higher importance.
Yeah.
For example, if you're in season, you haven't had kids, and all of a sudden you have kids, like things are going to shift and change. If you're not asking questions, if you're not leaning in, if you're not seeking to understand, like what's going on, how they're feeling now as a mom or as a dad, then you're not being a student, and you're going to miss how to best serve them in that moment at that
Hmm.
time. Like you said, if you're going to be a student, then that means you have to lean in, you have to do the work, you have to pass the test at times, and
Well,
you have to make sure that you're consistently seeking to grow in that knowledge. And you're right, this is not something that, like school, is going to end one day. You have to constantly be in the place to look at your spouse and say, what is truly going on? What is really happening? And how can I best come alongside?
well, the most friction that comes in marriage is definitely in this place, because two things happen. We start a sentence with I thought or I assumed.
Yeah.
And like you just said, going into a season of like now your parents, well, I thought my wife would dot dot dot, or I assumed my husband would dot dot dot. And that's where we get caught off guard and we start judging each other's motives, and we're not leaning into that learning mode because we're always evolving and always changing. There's some things that can stay pretty consistent maybe through one's life, but I'm just thinking through, like with us, like even down to like our favorite foods we would have picked at when we're 20 years old are probably not our favorite foods now.
Yeah.
Or even your taste in music or what your hobbies are. Like you said, we grow and we evolve and we're always changing. And when we get in that posture of I thought and I assumed, it sets us up for disappointment when there didn't need to be disappointment.
Yeah. Well, and being a student of your spouse doesn't. So I don't always understand Shannon. And there's
You of
certain
all people.
there are certain things that sometimes don't make sense, and I think most guys would agree with this. Like they
Yes.
can look at their spouse and they say, "I don't get it. Like I don't understand why they're acting that way. I don't understand where's that behavior coming from, or those emotions, or those feelings." Or you're driving down the street and all of a sudden she starts crying, and you don't know what's going on. You just were having a great conversation. All of a sudden she starts crying, and you're like, "What just happened?" And like part of being a student is you can sit there, and if you don't know, you can sit there and try to make up your own ideas and your own hypothesis of it.
Mhm.
You can analyze it on your own, or it's best if you actually go to the person. So if you're a student, you're going to go to the teacher and might ask some questions.
Mm.
And I'm gonna need to go to my spouse and I'm gonna need to ask some questions like, "Hey, are you okay? Is something I can help you with? Like, how can I come alongside you? Whatever it may be." So, but I think there's that part of like, if I'm gonna be a student and pause for a moment and want to learn and understand what's going on in that season, I think the spouse needs to also be able to be willing to educate the other spouse
Yes.
and bring them into that. Because here's the thing, I can try to be a student of my spouse, but that means it's not just me trying to figure it out.
We can't have a substitute teacher all the time. There's got to be an actual somebody there teaching,
Yeah, so I need
showing.
I need to be able to go to my spouse and be able to have a conversation and be able to say, "Hey, how like what's going on? How can I help you? How can I support you?" And that's the thing. Like I was actually just listening to a podcast, Dr. John Deloney, and a guy called in and he's talking about like he's having a difficult time with his wife, a new season with a baby, and things are just really different, and it's impacted their sex life. So he's having this conversation about his struggles and what's going on. And the first question that he asked, like, "Well, tell me a little bit. Like, have you talked to her about this and brought this to her?" Well,
No.
no, no. Have you asked her any questions about what she's feeling? What's going? No, I haven't done that. Like, and he was like surprised when he asked that question, and he was like, "Oh, no, I haven't done that." Well, like, "Well, why? Why? I don't really know what to say." Just ask. Like, just ask.
Yeah.
And that's what I would encourage you, like, so often, and we say this often on the podcast, like, 90% of the couples that we talk to, when we ask them, "Did you talk to your spouse about this? You're bringing it to us, or you've posted about this. Did you talk to your
Yeah.
spouse about" "Oh, no." Why?" "Well, I don't know how they'll receive it. I don't know, what's really going on." Then
Or
ask the question.
or we have an idea of how we think it'll go, and
Exactly.
we don't, and we're already setting it up for failure
Yeah.
because we're like, he's gonna respond this way. She's gonna shut me down if I ask this question. So we just retreat and then we don't ask.
Well, maybe that's happened in the past. Maybe that's been the pattern. But the thing is, like, you can't if they responded that way in the past, don't stop moving towards them.
Yeah.
Don't stop asking the hard questions. Don't stop pursuing them. Don't stop being that student of your spouse to seek to understand. Because if you want to best serve your spouse and love them in the season they're in, then you have to know where they're at. You have to come into that place. And the same thing, I already said it, like the spouse needs to invite them into that as well to help
Yes.
educate them. Shannon is going through changes also, like, changes that all women go through.
Wow,
What?
Javier,
It's, why can't we not talk about it?
because I'm only 40 and I'm not anywhere close
You're
to going
40.
through those changes.
Let's be a student of that. Let's
Uh,
talk about that. So premenopause,
you
like
just put me on
things
blast.
that she's going through, I may not understand. So I have to. That's a new season. If I'm a student of my spouse, I now have to ask, how can I support you in that? How can I come in? As opposed to stepping back and saying, my gosh, whether she's emotional or she's got this feeling or she's feeling a certain way, and just assume it's about me or why it's
Yeah.
happening to me or trying to guess what's going on. Why don't you just come into that space and ask them?
Yeah.
And it's important how you ask, right? Not saying, "What is wrong with you?" Like, why you that's not healthy.
Okay. But also, if we're going to be a student of our spouse, if I'm coming to you, then the one that's teaching needs to work from a place of responding and not reacting. So you have an opportunity
Are you
to
speaking from
share.
experience?
Well, always. You have an opportunity to share with your spouse where you're at, and with that's gonna come vulnerability. There's this great account on Instagram called Brandon Talks Marriage, and all he does is talk about, husband and wives and their needs and wants and desires. He's really good, and he said that when husbands come to their wives and they're kind of clueless, like you said, like, "I don't understand where this emotion's coming from. I don't understand this drama. I don't understand the energy level," like,
It's a lot of
they're
us.
confused, and he's saying that here's 3 things that a woman your wife needs in that moment. First of all, she wants to be taken seriously. Second of all, she's scared. She might not admit it, and she might not confess it, but there is a level of scaredness that comes with that, of sharing that. And third, they wanna feel safe. So, there's usually this fix it mode. Every boot camp, we ask this question, "Husbands, how many of you like to fix things?" And
It's almost all of
all
us.
the hands go up.
Yeah,
And there's some moments in your marriage where you will be asked to fix things, but the majority of the time is, "I need you to hear me.
yeah,
I need to be taken seriously, and I wanna feel safe with you."
yeah, yeah,
And those are
yeah.
crucial and important.
Well, and that's what I have here is like some of the aspects of being a student of your spouse, and one of those is active listening.
Yeah,
Being an active listener, paying close attention to what is actually being said, and not just verbally, but also non-verbally, like what is actually being said through body language, through emotions, like what is being communicated at that moment. Ask thoughtful questions, like, "Are you okay?" That's not very thoughtful. Can you tell me a little bit about kind of what's going on and why maybe why you're feeling the way you're feeling? I don't know. That's okay. I'm here if you want to talk. Like there's ways to ask thoughtful questions, and part of it too is observing behavior. If you're so just aware of you're only self-aware and you're only like focused on you and
yeah.
a bit selfish and seeing what your needs are and where you're at, you won't be aware of the person in front of you, your spouse who is in need.
Can I ask you a question, though?
Wait, yeah.
When you say that, when it comes to men, are they really being selfish when they're just so
I
only
don't know if they're always
self-aware?
being selfish.
I don't
I think
know.
there's sometimes just a lack of awareness of what's actually
Yeah,
happening with their
okay.
spouse.
That's what my
But I
question
think
was.
because we always internalize that something must be like I did something or something's wrong or why is she acting that way? And we tell couples all the time,
Yeah,
like part of this being a student of your spouse is to step back for a moment and ask yourself what's really going on in this situation. Too many times we automatically go to what is again happening to us. Why is she frustrated? Why is she angry? Why is she acting this way?
yeah,
And we get frustrated with that as opposed to pausing and oh, what's actually going on? Maybe I should move towards her and ask if she's okay or what's
yeah.
taking place. And or maybe we have to self-reflect and ask ourselves, be a student of ourselves and recognize, oh, in this season I've been a little disconnected. I've been working a lot. I haven't been home that often. I have been so focused on doing things around the house, which is helpful and good, and she appreciates that I've actually spent no time with her. So
Yeah,
she's simply just reacting to the lack of connection and time together. And so if you're a student, you're going to ask questions,
yeah,
and you're going to ask questions that dive in a little bit deeper, but also show genuine interest as well. Show interest in where they're at and what's going on, what's shifting and changing. Maybe there's a dream or a goal that they have now that they didn't have before and you're wondering like why are they spending so much time doing now, like something has
yeah.
changed. And if you don't constantly communicate about these things, then you're going to leave each other kind of in a place where I think you can grow actually disconnected in
Well, you
that.
start making assumptions about your spouse. I've
Yeah,
done it.
yeah,
Have you ever done that? Yeah, where I just assume that because of your behavior, you must be this way. You must be in a bad mood, or you
yeah,
must be pensive, or you
yeah,
must be frustrated, or
yeah,
he's upset with me, or I go through the list. I internally go through the whole list. And it actually could be none of those. But
yeah,
because I haven't actually asked you,
yeah,
then I'm left with um, having this internal conversation in my head that's doing this marriage, neither one of us, any good.
yeah. Yeah. So I think if you're going to be a student of your spouse, and I know we're getting close to our time here. It's a topic that we can further unpack, but I want you to pause for a moment and think about like how you're interacting with your spouse right now in the season that you're actually in. And are you being a student of them? Are you just seeing what's happening, what's taking place? You're wondering where you guys are at. You're wondering why they're behaving this way, or why you may feel disconnected. And in reality, it's not so much that it's this disconnection. It's just that there's some things that have shifted in the season of life that you're in, and you haven't move towards them to ask the questions, to engage, to see what is truly happening. And so, what I would encourage you is like begin to ask those questions, begin to show interest in where they're at.
Yeah.
Sit down and say, hey, in this season of your life, like what's important to you, like you know. Is there areas of your life that you think are shifting and changing? I want to know how to best serve you in this area, how to be available to you. And you have to constantly do that because
Yeah.
there's things are always shifting, whether that's kids or whether it's sickness or it's family issues you're navigating, whatever it is, career change or career loss. There's always things you're navigating, so you have to constantly be asking questions. So when you are a student of your spouse, you're going to have stronger connection,
Yes.
you're going to have better communication, more
Yes.
effective communication. I think it'll help you with conflict resolution as well,
Mhm.
because what's going to happen is you're going to have a better understanding of where they're at. So you're
Mhm.
already coming from a place of like, oh, we've talked about this and where they're at.
Yeah.
So
Well,
if
you're
there's a,
coming from a place of understanding, and
yeah,
that's huge.
and that helps with the conflict. And
Yeah.
I think it's also going to give you some greater empathy, which we believe is so powerful in your marriage. And one of
Yeah.
the core foundational pieces that you have to instill into your marriage is empathy. And I think when you're a student of your spouse, you're going to create more empathy because now you have a better understanding of where they're at, what they're
Yes.
going through, what they're experiencing, and even just the joys that they have and the things they're excited about. Too many times we grow disconnected because we don't communicate, because we don't come into each other's world to best understand where we're
Yeah.
at. I
Yes.
over communicate. That's my spiritual
I
gift.
under
Shannon
communicate,
under communicates,
which
and
sounds
she's
bad.
working on. Not that she under communicates. It's more like I am freely always pouring out
Well, and
everything.
I say just what needs to be said. In this one, he's got buckets for days of words.
But that is better than the alternative of you trying to have to dig and dig and dig and dig and take a shovel and try to get me to open up and to share. Like
Do you feel like you have to dig and dig with me?
sometimes it's not a big shovel, but I do have one of those little like gardening shovels. Like I have to like dig a little bit
Hmm.
to get to
Well,
where
you
you're
know
at.
what? You're welcome
But
because you get
I'm
to.
committed to being a student of
And
Pookie.
apparently a gardener.
I'm a gardener. Yes, yes,
Well,
that's
you're
right.
welcome.
Cultivating and
I gave
trying
you
to help.
something to do. If I made it easy, you wouldn't have anything to do.
That is so true.
Well, there
So
you
true.
go.
And so, hopefully, as if you listen to this podcast, put this into practice and step back and ask yourself that question: how can I be a student of my spouse in this season? And begin to look at them through that lens. And I think it'll shift and change how you're moving towards one another. If you're listening to this, if you're single, maybe you're dating, maybe you've been divorced, you can be a student of even self, to sit back and reflect on where you've
Yeah.
been, where you're going, what has led you to where you're at, and making a determination that as you move forward and maybe you begin dating and move into engagement and marriage, that you're going to be a student of that person that you're dating, to best understand them, to ask questions, to dive in. Again, on that podcast I listened to today, some girl was talking about how she discovered that this guy she's with, she's alive. They just moved in together after only being together for 6 months.
Wait,
I'm
she
like,
just discovered he's alive?
a liar.
Oh, a
But
liar.
yeah, she
Well,
discovered he's
I'm
alive. Oh my
glad.
gosh, he's alive. Um, but it's like you weren't a student of who he was, and you just dove in like and like you went into this place in your relationship without actually like really being a student of that
Well,
person,
peel back
learning
the
and
layers.
growing.
She saw that he was a liar. She chose to
I
overlook
don't
it.
know. Maybe.
Yes.
Probably so.
Yes.
Probably so.
100%.
Anyways, so thank you so much for being part of the 24/7 Marriage family, tuning into this podcast, for listening or watching, however you are enjoying the podcast right now. Just remember, we are a partner supported ministry, so please go support the work of 24/7 Marriage by going to Instagram, clicking on the links there, our website at 247marriage.org. Make sure you share this podcast with others. We appreciate each and every one of you, and always remember that in marriage,
You don't have to.
you get to have an incredible week.
Bye,
We'll see you soon.
guys.
you for listening to the 24/7 Marriage Podcast. Help us expand our reach by rating and leaving us a review on iTunes. Make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. For more information on the work we do and how to support 24/7 Marriage, head on over to 247marriage.org and click on Partner with Us. Until next week, remember, in marriage you don't have to, you get to.